Hey there, my name is Luke Thomas. I'm the founder of Friday, and I want to show you how Friday works for your team or for your company. And I thought, what better way to show off the functionality than to walk you through literally how we as a company at Friday use our own product. So I think hopefully this video really helps you understand like what you can actually do with the tool. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, luke@friday.app. So at the core of the Friday for Teams experience is the idea of a routine. A routine is basically an automated status update. Think something like a weekly update or a weekly check-in, a daily stand-up, a monthly review. Basically, it's information sharing or communication that happens on a repeatable, predictable basis. So oftentimes this type of communication can be an update shared before a Monday staff meeting. It could be something that is shared before like a one-on-one meeting. It could be something that's shared before a daily stand-up. You get the point. The idea and the thesis that we work from at Friday is that information sharing and sharing status updates can be done outside of a meeting. And so sometimes you find that if you do this, you will spend less time in meetings, or you may find that you don't even need to have the meeting at all. And so what Friday does is we help you automate as much of that process as possible through our routines. And this is really, once again, the core of the Friday for Teams experience. So you can see here we have a few different routines that we've set up, and I'll just quickly walk you through them at a high level, and then I'll walk you through how one of them specifically works. So every Monday morning, the team or the entire company quickly shares basically, hey, what did you do over the weekend and what are your priorities for this week? Throughout the rest of the week, we do a daily stand-up. So that helps us kind of create this tactical, here's literally what I'm doing today, right? Kind of creates a little bit of accountability. And then at the end of the week, we do a Friday check-in. This is only seen by me. People answer questions like, how did you feel about the week? What went well? What didn't go so well? And at the end of the month, we also do a monthly review, and that helps kickstart our monthly goal meeting. And so let me dive into one specifically to give you an example of the configuration, and then I'll also walk you through what the output looks like. So if I select here, and one thing to keep in mind is we are rebuilding this soon, but basically you can configure the communication and the update cadence, almost like how you might architect your communication at work. So you can see here we have a few different prompts. I asked, how did you feel about the week? That's an emoji question, so you can kind of see what that looks like here. I asked how productive people thought they were on a 1 to 10 scale, what went well, what was the worst part of your week, and then if you want, you can enable a power-up. What a power-up does is it allows you to do an additional activity that may not happen naturally on its own, right? So what we do is we create this routine around sharing end-of-week updates, and then if you want, you can share kudos, you can answer icebreaker questions, you can share progress on goals. So we're basically chaining a power-up to another routine that you are more likely to do on a repeatable basis. So as a result, you should expect more of this to happen, right? You should expect people to say thank you more often when it's part of an existing routine. But you can see here, you can customize this any way you want. With Friday, you can automate literally any routine communication or update that you can think of. We also can handle reminders, so you don't have to run around and ask your team to fill out that status report or that status update. You can see you can also pick and choose the participants. You can also pick and choose who should fill this thing out and who should see it, right? So in this example, it's just me because it's a Friday check-in, where the other routines are visible to everybody. So once again, you are the architect of how you want to communicate on a repeatable basis with Friday. And you can create as many routines as you want. Now here's what that looks like. I'm going to jump out to the feed. And so let's say I want to see the weekly goal responses. You can see those all in a chronological format, right? So it's kind of fun. I can see what my coworkers did over the weekend and what they aim to accomplish this week. So this gives me a sense of where are people pointed every week, right? It's so difficult to kind of pin down and to get people to commit to doing something. And when people write things down and when they share it with others, they're way more likely to end up completing it. So this provides a form of accountability and awareness. You can see with the Friday, or let's do a daily stand-up as an example, as soon as it decides it wants to load. So now if I want to see what people are actually working on at this moment in time, you can see this, right? So I can literally see people checking off tasks and activities as they work throughout the day. I can also, if I want, I can see the kudos that have been sent recently, right? So I can see kudos that have been sent. I sent a kudo earlier today. We tagged company values in it. If I want to learn more about my coworkers, right, this is a power up. So I can see like Tanvi, what was her first job, right? And so this helps me bond with my coworkers as well. All of this can be pushed into Slack, by the way. And so yeah, that's how routines and the features related to routines work and how we use them, right? So it's about creating predictable flows of communication and information sharing and helping you gather this awareness that previously you were getting at the office that you're not getting when everyone's working remotely or in a distributed capacity, right? So instead of you running around needing to chase people for updates, asking people, what are you working on? What are you what are you doing this week? Instead, the information flows to you, right? This is a key distinction because you don't have time to figure out what people are working on. Like if you hold more meetings, people are going to get annoyed. You don't have that luxury anymore. You have to have fewer, more thoughtful meetings. And so this is at the crux of the Friday for Teams experience is automating routine communication and updates, and everything else builds off that. So I'll give another couple examples of some other functionality that we offer. So we also have post functionality. What a post is a post is for ad hoc communication. Think of this as almost like a blog meets a forum, right? So I can share, and I'll give you an example. I could share like a company announcement, or I could share like meeting notes. So I shared some meeting notes earlier today. But what happens is this all rolls up in a chronological feed, and then I can quickly show how it works, and people can react and leave comments. Right? This also can be pushed into Slack, right? So if I want to create a new one, I could say, okay, like let's share an announcement. I could, compose an announcement and then I can push it out through Slack. So this is for more longer form, more thoughtful communication that currently kind of gets trapped in a Slack thread. That's really why this feature exists, is it's about saying, hey, there's long form discussion that can dramatically improve the effectiveness of meetings if you're able to do some of that outside of the meeting. So a routine is for communication where it happens on a repeatable, predictable basis, whereas a post is something that is ad hoc and also revolves around having a little bit more back and forth long form discussion. Routines is primarily just for information sharing. But yeah, we use Friday posts to share announcements. I share weekly, just a high-level State of the Union where I share metrics on a regular basis, and where we share ad hoc meeting notes. I'll show you a couple other things. So we also have people, right? So if I want to learn more about my coworkers, I can view their profile. And so this is a way to kickstart richer in-person discussion by giving you context and a foundation for getting to know your coworkers. So if you think about the outcome that working at the office provided, imagine like going out with a coworker for lunch like a few times in the first month. What would you learn about them? Well, there's never going to be we are not trying to replace in real life, real world conversations. We're trying to accelerate them when they happen, because they happen less frequently when you are working remotely. What you can see is if I want to learn about Tanvi, I can quickly learn from her profile. This dramatically reduces the kind of awkward encounter where you're like, I want to talk with this person, but I don't really know them that well. So I can see her icebreakers, so I can see how she's responded, right? I can see the kudos. I can see updates that she sent. So basically, if I want to learn more about a coworker and what they're working on, I can go to their profile. The final thing I'll show you is that we have a handbook. And the handbook is really a company-wide feature. And the idea with the handbook is that a lot of teams use wiki products to kind of document and highlight the kind of foundational building blocks for why the company exists. And it's kind of interesting because you share all this important context in a handbook, but handbooks are not really like things that people like to reference on a regular basis. Like they're not really in workflow. And so as a result, it's like Imagine spending all this time creating a handbook and then shoving it in a file cabinet. It's like you've kind of wasted your time. And so at Friday, what we're trying to do with the handbook functionality, once again, you can kind of stack this, like all these features that I'm showing you, you can roll out over time. You don't have to adopt all of this at once. But what you can see is if I want to learn more about the company, okay, like there's 14 team members, they're across 5 countries, 5 time zones. Like this is the type of stuff that a new employee on day one, like they really need to learn this stuff. So you can see our vision, our mission, how like the tools that we use to communicate. I have quick links here. We show like the different miscellaneous software. For whatever reason, we're not showing our company values right now. But if I want to quickly understand like the company, why it exists and how it functions, the handbook in Friday is the jumping off point for that, right? We're not trying to, create a wiki product. What we are trying to do is create this high level, just jumping off point and centralizing the most important stuff in one place. So yeah, in a nutshell, we have a few other bits of functionality in Friday, but at its core, this is the Friday team and company experience. You can see here, there's quite a bit here. So right now, if you're using like Friday and the individual features, that's great. But if you decide you want to use Friday with your team or with your company, there's a lot more to unpack. And like I said, if you have any feedback or any perspective, or you'd like to chat more, my email is luke@friday.app. Thanks.